Saints offensive coordinator Klint Kubiak talks joining the Saints and working with veterans like Alvin Kamara. Ladies and gentlemen, New Orleans Football presenting the video here. Klint Kubiak is back in front of the cameras. I love it. This is what life is all about. Get excited. I'm excited. I mean, it's palpable, ladies and gentlemen. You can feel it. You can feel the season is so close. We're recording this on a Monday, releasing on a Monday. Wednesday, the schedule is released, and then it is all downhill from there. We are close to football. Klint Kubiak, the savior, the future, the mind behind the offensive game plan, behind the strategy and the scheme that we'll be seeing on the field this season. Let's go ahead and listen to Clint, shall we?
Extremely early in the process, but how do you see the assimilation going in the learning process?
I feel like I'm on a motion ride. Jesus.
It's been good. You know, 2 practices in. You guys have
I feel like I was in the movie Cloverfield. I love it. That's the excitement right there. You can't look at this. Hold on a second now. Now we had a shaky start. We had some movement. We had some, the camera was there. It was a bit of a Blair Witch project, if you will, a bit of a Paranormal Activity, found footage style intro. But now look at the crisp detail here. Look at the crisp footage from New Orleans Football, ladies and gentlemen. If you're trying to figure out who to watch, where to get the most cutting edge breaking news, breaking information from the Saints during training camp, get on over to New Orleans Football. I guarantee you they'll be pumping out more content than anybody else.
A lot to learn, mainly just how to practice and how to stay up. But we've been really pleased with it thus far.
What are you seeing, I guess, from yourself being in this role and position with a new organization?
Yeah, it's been really fun. It's been really rewarding to work with really good people, starting with Coach Allen. And, we got some really good coaches on our offensive staff. So we're gelling together as a staff as well as getting our players better.
I mean, it is interesting. It is a daunting task, to say the least, to walk into a new building. It's one thing to get promoted. It's one thing to be named the offensive coordinator, or you work your way up through the same organization. You learn how things are done. You learn the playbooks. You learn all that stuff. It's a whole different ball game to walk into a brand spanking new organization, a brand new locker room, a brand new cast of characters, and say, you know what, fellas? I'm the OC. You know what? This is my game, my plan, my strategy, my game plan, all that stuff. Trust me. Trust me. Trust my mind. Yeah, it's got to be daunting. So I'm glad Clint sounds like he's up for the challenge.
Clint, when you're working with a lot of veteran players on understanding a new playbook, new system, guys who've maybe been in a system for a long time, what's kind of your thing where you're trying to, what's your big thing that you want these guys to take away from the early part of this?
This time of year, it's all teaching, installation and trying to slow it down, starting from scratch and not assuming anything, just trying to be really good at the details and just understanding, like you said, there's first-year guys, rookies, and we got 13-year veterans. So we're going to keep it simple initially and just make sure we're as detailed.
Clint, do you envision utilizing Alvin Kamara very similar to McCaffrey?
Yeah.
All right, so the question there, so I know it's low. Okay, I know it's low. The questions, I mean, my God, look at the vultures. Look at what we got a guy up front. I don't know if y'all can see the hands in the video. He's triple fisting microphones. He's got 3 microphones in his grip, in his spider grip. He's got 3 different ones. So I understand the questions are low. If I think they're too low to hear, then I will repeat them, much like this one. So this fella in the back, off camera, asked, probably right behind the guy with the mustache, he asked, will you be utilizing Alvin Kamara similarly to how Christian McCaffrey was used in San Francisco? To that, I say, fantastic question. I love that. That's a great question. That is such a good question. Perfect. That's a guy who's watching football. That's a guy who's watching ball. That is the kind of questions we need. We don't need questions like, Clint, how do you like the food in New Orleans? I don't care. I don't care if he never eats in New Orleans. I don't care if he's on a strict rice and eggs diet like me. It's beach season, okay? I love this question right here. So let's listen to what Clint says. Question, will you use Alvin Kamara like Christian McCaffrey?
I think it'll be really fun to work with Alvin. He's got a great skill set that we can do a lot of things with. So I think it's just up to us as coaches identifying those things and him putting in the work.
I love that. You know what that answer is to me? Yes. That answer to me is he's got a great skill set. We love just having him available on the roster to be creative with. I love it. We're a minute into this video. I'm locked in. I'm ready to run through a brick wall. I'll do 100 push-ups for this guy any day of the week, okay? He's already thinking. Pete Carmichael is watching this. If someone can figure out how to turn his computer on for him, he's watching this video and he's like, yeah, I guess Alvin is kind of like Christian McCaffrey. Like, this is what this. I just gave a left jab to my microphone. Sorry, guys, but this is where we need to be thinking. We got all of off season, all of training camp, all that time for Clint, the beautiful mind, the mastermind, to think about how he can get Alvin Kamara those touches.
One of the things with the Sean Payton offense that we've seen for a long time here is like kind of famous for those really long play calls. Like, how would you describe the verbiage of your offense? Like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know y'all couldn't hear that because there was a B-52 bomber overhead flight pattern going on there. I was in the middle of an air terminal. But the question by the guy with the mustache and the Titleist hat, this is I don't want to, Again, guys, breaking news, crime reporter at a Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper. So I feel like I can give a little bit of critique. This is a bad question, okay? His question was Sean Payton's playbook was had these like long play calls. What's your verbiage like? Who cares what the verbiage is like? Why does that matter? We had a great question with the Alvin Kamara, and now we're asking Clint to compare his verbiage with Sean Payton's verbiage.
Well, I can't speak for that for Coach. I would say that.
There you go, Clint.
We're a West Coast offense for whatever that means to everybody. We're going to be probably as wordy as the quarterback can handle, and I think our quarterback is a very smart player. He can handle a lot. I think we're going to challenge him early this time of year in the off season, and him and his teammates, and see what they can handle.
I love that too. Like, that's what life's all about. He's going to say, look, let's get out there. Let's see what works. If long, wordy, complicated play calls work, we'll do that. If long, wordy, complicated play calls don't work, we'll shorten them. Love that.
I felt like New Orleans was the right place for the next step in your career.
Question was, is New Orleans the right place for the next step in your career?
I think it just came down to the people that you're working with.
There you go.
Coach Allen gave me an opportunity, and Mickey Loomis, getting to work with guys that I've worked with before and been in the fire with, like Rick Dennison and Andrew Janocko, and some new coaches.
Janocko, quarterback coach, we covered him in a video a couple months ago.
That I'm learning that I'm really impressed with. So it all comes down to the people. It's a hard job with long hours, so you got to be around people that you respect and have your back, and we have that here.
Clint, how much does it help that you do have a veteran quarterback that you can, that can handle the verbiage? Because obviously you want to accelerate the process as much as you can.
Oh, it helps tremendously. And Derek he's had a really good offseason thus far. He's putting in the work. He's here after hours. Just really studies his tail off, and then his teammates see how hard he works, and he brings our level of play up as well.
100% agree that having a veteran quarterback during this transitionary time period for Klint Kubiak is probably a really nice thing to have. Like, being able to lean on a guy who has been in the NFL for 10 years, like to lean on to that much experience is good. It's hard to instill your offense, and it's hard to see what works and what doesn't work when you're dealing with younger players who they don't even know what works and what doesn't work, right? Like, if let's just say J.J. McCarthy was the quarterback, you're talking to a 21-year-old guy who's never played in the NFL, so you don't know what is good, what is bad, what should be good, and what should be bad, right? It's too much unknown. So having Derek Carr there, whatever you think of Derek Carr, but having a veteran quarterback for this is perfect.
If there were a couple things that you would say define your kind of like philosophy, like what would a couple of those things be?
There's Nick coming in with a big time question. Fantastic question. Couple of things to define your philosophy. Ooh, I like this. And we ain't talking Plato. We ain't talking Socrates. Okay, we're talking about offensive philosophy. So now we get to hear from Klint Kubiak on just give us a sneak sneak peek at your offensive philosophy. I cannot wait to hear this. Because if you would ask Pete Carmichael this question last season, Pete would have turned to dust. He would have imploded. He would have exploded on the spot. He would have looked like Chris Angel or David Blaine. It would have been a smoke bomb, and then Pete would have been gone pecan.
No, we're just stressing the players this time of year to be smart, tough, and dependable. And regardless of the scheme and what that brings, if we can just start with that, we'll be in good shape come training camp as we keep
Tight-lipped question. Tight-lipped answer.
keep working.
Yep, didn't answer the question at all. Bit disappointed there, but okay, you want to keep it close to the chest? Fine. So he's saying that right now we're just trying to get, physical and strong and dependable and all that stuff, and then the scheme will come later. So, all right, fine. If you don't want to talk about it, Clint, don't talk about it.
What was it about Spencer Rattler that really popped off for you to want to draft him, and how does he look in day one career?
Question, this guy might have been across the street. The question was, Spencer Rattler, how's he look so far?
Well, I think, our scouting department did a great job of, identifying all the players that we've drafted. But
yeah,
we like a lot of things about Spencer, but the things that take no talent, and to me, that is his attention to detail really stuck out. His effort, his drive to be better. To me, that doesn't take a whole lot of talent. It's something that's inside, and he has that in spades.
How's that
Boom.
already in day one?
Yeah, it's 2 days into it. It's 2 practices into it. He has been excellent, as well as Kellen Mond in the meeting room. So
when the hell was this? I think this was. Didn't Kellen Mond didn't they release him? I mean, sometimes you get got.
it's been a positive start.
How about Taliese Fuaga? He seemed like of all the offensive tackles you guys were scouting in round one, had done the most wide zone run blocking. I mean, does he feel like a good fit for this offense in particular?
Yeah, we definitely think so, and we love the person. We love his work ethic, and we love the type of teammate that he was at Oregon State. So amongst all the skills that made him a first-round draft pick, it's really the intangibles that he brings that we're looking forward to.
And I know Coach said you guys are going to look at him at left tackle because you've seen him at right tackle. What about him makes you think he could possibly be good at either position?
Oh, he's a tremendous athlete. We identified that.
He's Zeus. Everyone knows that. He's Zeus. We acknowledge the tribal chief. So we'll talk about this in the videos, throughout the week. But there has been a lot made about Taliese Fuaga taking snaps and getting a look at the left, playing left tackle on the left side of the line. I don't think it's as big of a deal right now as people are making it out to be. It does make sense if you're Klint Kubiak and his offensive coaches, where we have hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of tape on this guy playing on the right. Let's see what he does look like over there. Let's just see if it is an option. Let's just see if it's something we do want to explore, or if it's too foreign of a move, then maybe we'll just keep him on the right and we'll just focus on the right. So I don't think it's bad 2 days in, 2 practices in when this is the guy double fisting the microphones. This is unbelievable. But I don't think 2 practices in, it's a bad idea to see like what all players can do. And sometimes it'll fail, sometimes it won't fail. Like I remember, this is a totally different situation, but I remember in high school during in a summer baseball practice, I remember the coach asked to see if I could throw submarine. And so I just threw like a bullpen session submarine, and that was it. And nothing ever really came of it. It was just like, let's just see if this works. But if there's a ton of media there, and all of a sudden they hear like James Skrmetta working on a submarine pitching, you can make like a huge deal out of something that's just kind of exploratory. So right now, I think it's a good idea to just see what Taliese Fuaga can do. Let him just try different stuff at the beginning. I hope he stays on the right side. If he does play on the left side, I'd be kind of like, okay, first of all, if he plays on the left side, Trevor Penny, my God. But all that doesn't really fix anything, because you're taking a guy and you're moving him on the left. Unless Ryan Ramczyk's knee all of a sudden got a whole lot better, to me that just creates more questions. So we'll cover that more. I know there's going to be a lot of questions about that, but I think right now it's just kind of exploratory.
Early, just how athletic he is, how mean he is, in a good way. And we definitely want to see what he looks like at left for this camp.
How do you think so far he's handled the mental load of doing that, switching positions, just in addition to everything else the rookies are kind of learning now?
Yeah, well, one of the huge reasons we drafted him was his intelligence, and he's been, just like all the other guys, putting in a lot of work. He came out and definitely has not disappointed, but it's 2 days into it, and we're not going to crown anybody or go the other way on the first 2 days, but we are happy with what we got thus far.
To that point, how has Bub looked to you in the first 2 days?
Yeah.
All right, this question was, to that point, how has Bub Means look on his first 2 days?
Bub is in the same way. He brings a lot of positive energy. He got a big smile on his face. He really likes football, which is important, because we're here long hours, and you got to love it in order to be a great player. No. So he's had a good first step.
Clint just hit at a good point. Guys, remember, as a fan, I know we're excited. I'm excited. You're excited. Everybody's excited. It's 2 practices in. It's mini camp. There's going to be like don't get lost in all these stories. Okay, don't get lost in Jake Hayner went 8 for 8 in practices, and Spencer Rattler went 4 for 8. Is that a problem? Like, whatever is happening in minicamp and training camp, let that process be the process. It's okay to try new stuff, to fail, to push boundaries, to do all that stuff in camp. That's what camp is for. You don't want to see just like an easy, simple, baby tip-tap-toe camp where everyone's looking good because no one's actually getting better. So be careful when you hear headlines. Be careful when you read reports. If everyone's thinking the same way, no one's thinking. Okay, so this is a misinformation kind of time where you're hearing a lot of stuff come out of camps. Like, remember, okay, before Jamar Chase's rookie season, what came out of camp? He couldn't catch. The rumor out of camp was he was dropping a lot of passes and he couldn't catch. We saw what happened. So,
when you look at Derek's season last year, it's obviously some highs and lows. You get that with every quarterback. But what was kind of the main takeaway for you when you were kind of going back and looking through all that, and how do you pull more of the highs out, I guess?
Good question. That was a good question. I'll give whoever that was credit. I don't know who it was, but they asked, looking back at Derek Carr's season last year, what are the highs and the lows? What do you think about it? Great question. I don't know if we'll get an answer, but that's a good question. I like that a lot. I mean, again, guys, I keep mentioning it, but this triple threat grip. I mean, this index finger is working overtime. Let's ask about the mini camp performance, the player grade of this index finger. It's carrying almost the full load of this microphone right here. Unbelievable dexterity.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've followed his career since he's been drafted out of Fresno State. So I've seen, I've been in his division and see him come back and beat us many times. So he's got a lot of talent. He's been with some really intelligent coaches. So he has a lot of football up in his mind right now. And we're just trying to slowly install our system and take it one day at a time. And, the main thing I'd say about that is I think he just has grit about him. And I really love his grit and his smarts. And that's something that we're just going to keep building on with him.
So it looks like the theme for Klint Kubiak is let's try and not answer any questions pertaining the actual scheme, strategy, all that stuff. Let's try and just hit the old switcherooski. Instead of answering that, we're just going to talk about intangibles. Nothing but intangibles. Everything is grit. Everything is tough. Everything is working hard. Everything is love football. Everything is leadership. So that's where we're at. Okay, Clint, but I'll tell you this right now. I love Klint Kubiak. Okay, love him like a brother. I'll let you do this in camp. Come week 1, come week 2, come week 3, come week 4. We better be talking strategy. We better be talking scheme. We better be talking philosophy. Okay? I don't want to be coming off a loss or something and I need answers. And I got thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of the Who Dat Nation coming here for answers. I don't want to hear about somebody's intangibles. Okay? So let's keep this in camp. All right?
Is there anything about what you've seen with him in the past that makes him a really good match for this system from the get-go?
Athleticism. He's a really good athlete. I think that's something that's not said enough about him. So, but no, that's the main thing that I saw.
Taysom Hill has obviously had a really unique role in the offense. They've ran here for a long time. I don't know if that fits what you do in your scheme, but you have to kind of look at what he did and try to figure out how it works in that.
Good question. Okay, so the question was Taysom Hill. Again, I know I'm repeating these. I don't know what y'all can hear and what y'all can't hear. Question is Taysom Hill. He's unique. Did you think about, using him, or have you ever had someone like him, or how do you plan on using him? So good question.
Yes. Taysom has been phenomenal here early. We've been kind of moving him in a lot of spots as he's done his entire career. Really intelligent guy. So looking forward to just kind of, giving him a lot of volume early, and then we'll start narrowing it down as we get closer to the season.
What are some of the things just from last year being in San Francisco that you feel like were maybe influential on you, or were maybe a learning experience or eye-opening or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say just the entire organization, starting with Kyle, the way that he runs the team and he runs the offense. And it was just a real pleasure to be around him last year and see his work ethic and see how he treats his players and that, the way that he game plans.
Okay, so that sounds like a PC answer. I like that answer. He's basically saying, like, yeah, seeing the culture, seeing how a winning organization like that is done from the top to the bottom, seeing how arguably the best coach in the NFL operates on a daily basis, how he treats his players, his work ethic, how often he's in the office, what he's doing, that actually is a good answer. That is important. And that is a reason why I trust Klint Kubiak and I trust this hire, is that whatever he can take from Kyle Shanahan, who I would have as a top 3 coach in the NFL. I was going to say number 1, but I got to think about that. Definitely top 3. But what he can take from a top 3 coach in a world-class organization, that's hugely valuable. Hugely valuable. So I do like that answer a lot. That's a good one. That's a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely fired up. I'm so pumped up for football season. I'm so pumped up for all this content we're about to have. We're about to have interviews, player interviews, coaching interviews, highlights. We're about to have so much. God bless, we're about to have so much content. I mean, I'm getting fired up. And if you're fired up, ladies and gentlemen, there's still room. Remember, we're doing voice messages, basically like a call-in type situation. I want to hear from you. Go down in the link below and leave me a voice message that I will react to live in a future video. There's still a couple slots left. We only have so much storage on there, so a few slots left. Make sure your voice is heard. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.